All right, welcome back everybody. I've got something out on loan right now, so this is going to have to go back to the shop, unfortunately. I'll just turn my levels down a little bit. And yeah, this has been a huge request on the channel. Hopefully the audio is all good. So we're going to do a live unboxing, first impressions of the Fender ToneMaster Deluxe Reverb, which I've got on the floor right here. So I'll wait till a few people join and then we'll kick it off. Just make sure everything's working properly. You can hear and see me all right. Hey, Guitar Hack, welcome, man. Hopefully everything's working. Deep Shane McSwade. Looks like we're working. I like that nickname, that's cool. All right, we're live. I'll just give it a minute, make sure everybody is in. Randy Collins, welcome. JJ House of Jams. We got Tom, Brink. All right, looks like it's working. Brennan Simmons says, awesome, just ordered mine yesterday. So for those who have just joined, we're going to do a live unboxing / first impressions of this. It's an amp I can lift. The ToneMaster Deluxe Reverb. I got to tell you, since the Twin turned up, I have a feeling it's my best amp for Fender tones. It really is. It's awesome. It's so light, it's loud, and those live tones, I think, hopefully spoke for themselves. So yeah, one of the biggest requests has been, how does this one hold up? And they've just come in, so I got my hands on one. It's just a loaner, but I have a feeling it should be pretty good. All right, so we might as well kick it off. We'll get it started, and then as people, if you've got any questions about stuff or whatever, feel free to let me know. We'll get into this. Let me pop the chat out here so I can see a little more of the questions. Looks like a few people have them, which is pretty great. Let us know where you're from too, guys. It's always fun finding out where everyone's watching from. Finally a live stream. Yeah, I haven't been doing much of them lately, man. I'm recovering from my knee surgery, so but before that I took a break because the internet was pretty bad, and it still is, but hopefully it works. So we're gonna see how it goes. I hate those amps. They're really good, but not worth €1,000. Yeah, a lot of people are complaining about the price, being that they're a digital modeling amp, but I think a lot of the assembly goes, or it happens in the US as well, so it probably raises the price of it up, even though I don't think the internals are made there. The actual, the Tolex and all that sort of stuff goes on in the US, so I'm thinking that's probably where that price bump is. If the entire thing was made like the Mustang overseas, it would probably be a whole lot cheaper, but yeah, that's just one of those things. So yeah, I love the ToneMaster Twin. I just think it's such a great amplifier, really is. So in the box, we get a cover, which is great. And for those who haven't seen these amps in person yet or heard them, go check them out. Like, they look identical minus the little symbol down the bottom on the grill cloth that says ToneMaster. Yeah, just from the front anyway. And they're great. So I'm really interested to see whether or not there's any real reason to buy this one over the Twin, because you know the Twin is loud and light as well. So, and you can switch it down to 22 watts, which is what this one's maximum is. A few people mentioned that they thought that they should have boosted the overall volume of these. So keep it as a 22 watt amp at its, Deluxe Reverb sort of volume or clone, I should say, but also have like a 40 watt option on there. I thought that would have been pretty cool. All right, people from all over the place here, welcome. Todd, how you doing, man? Houston, Texas, Sweden, awesome. Sweden's beautiful. Detroit, been to Detroit a couple of times too, cool. Waco, Texas, haven't been there, but that sounds pretty cool. All right, so here it is. It's obscenely light. This is great. So this is 24 pounds, and I don't have the top of the Twin. I think it says it's like 33 pounds. So this is much lighter again, which is good. So I won't have any problems there. We'll hook it up and we'll make some noise. You also get the foot switch and the power cable, but I'm not going to use either of them. I've already got enough of those things floating around, so I'm just going to plug in one of mine and we'll see what kind of tones we can get. I've just got an SM57 hooked up on the floor. And I really think, you know, I was thinking about this last night because this is the kind of nerdy stuff I think about. That Fender went from one of the worst modeling amps in the world to easily the best. Just in one generation. I think they realized like cramming a whole bunch of stuff into an amp probably isn't the way to go. So yeah, this is definitely really cool. All right, so if you've just joined, this isn't mine. I've got to take this back. I drove down and picked it up from Sky Music here in Melbourne. They were nice enough to let me borrow it again. Or not again, but they were nice enough to let me borrow another amp. We might as well get this fired up. I had another lead somewhere that I prefer over this one. Where is it? All right, no I don't. So I've got a Strat, I got my PRS, and I've got my Tele. Let me know which one you want to hear first while we fire this up. All right, we've got heaps of folks here. Welcome, guys. I don't know how many people are actually watching, but the chat's flying along. So, yeah, welcome back. Sorry I don't do too many live streams these days, guys. I just been working on a lot of other projects, and mixed with pretty crappy internet, it's not really a, you know, it's not really a great thing. So 10.5 kilos, yeah, it's light as. Like I can pick this up like one finger. This is much lighter than any of my other amps in even the Artist Tweed Tone and any of the others that you've seen on the channel. It's ridiculously light. All right, Strat it is. So on my old Deluxe Reverb, I used to run the bass at about 3.5, treble at about 5. We'll start the volume at about 3, reverb at about, let's try it at about 2.5. And now, this might just take a minute to get the audio right. I want to make sure that the amp isn't spiking, so I may have to just fiddle around with this for a second. Hang on. I'm going to mute my shirt mic. First impressions is hopefully that worked all right. It sounds great. My heater's on, so I'm going to turn this off. I'm getting a little bit of heater buzz through the amp. Hopefully that sounds pretty nice. It sounds great. You know, I've owned 2 Deluxe Reverbs. I've had a 65 and I've also had a 68 Custom Deluxe, and it feels like a Deluxe Reverb. It's on full, let's just double check that. I did see it all the way up, right? Yeah, it's on 22 watts, so that's at 3. Let's turn that up just a little bit. I think I'm still gonna get a little bit of buzz in this room. It's just a bit unavoidable. Oh, I know what it is. It's my wireless pack. That's what happens when you yeah, that's exactly what that is. I'll move this away from the guitar. We should be good now. Man, this plays great. It sounds good. It has that big push of sound as well, like the Twin. Obviously not as much as the Twin, but it doesn't sound like a cheap modeling amp. It sounds like an actual real deal amplifier. Nice and spanky. Thanks. Yeah, it is, absolutely. Nothing like a Fender clean. I totally agree. Yeah, like I said before, they are expensive. It's probably got to do with the assembly part of it, and probably a lot of the R&D that went into it as well. I'm not 100% certain, but that's just an assumption based on a few things. And they sound like a premium amp. They don't sound like a sort of cheap imitation of it. It just sounds like a regular Fender sitting on the ground. So that's pretty cool. I think it depends on where you're from on the price. Just check online. I mean, I can't give you one price to suit everywhere. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. So I never reply to those comments in the comment section of the videos. $8.99 in the US. There we go. So they're a lot more here. They're like, I think $1,400 or something. All right, let me know if the audio is okay too. If there's any clipping or whatever, just let us know. It did look like it was spiking slightly, so you might have copped a little bit of distortion, but in the room it sounds beautiful. If they sound that good, I don't think many will pop up on the used market. Terry, you're probably absolutely right about that, mate. I have a feeling these aren't going to show up for quite a while. Most of the people that are going to be buying this want something way lighter that still has a great tone. You know, even the Deluxe Reverb. The funny thing is, right, the Deluxe Reverb isn't that heavy when you compare it to, say, like a Blues Deluxe or a Hot Rod Deluxe or a Marshall or anything like that. So they're not a super heavy amp already, but I guess the versatility of just having everything in one where you can sort of turn down the output volume and all that, it's pretty cool too. So what I might do, we'll turn it down to whatever the next wattage down is. I didn't really take notice of that, and we'll turn it up to 5.5, and we'll see if we can get some sort of bluesy. Hey, Matty K, thanks, man. Shane, great to be around for a live cast, mate. It's been a while. Still a big fan. Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. I haven't been doing a whole lot of live streams lately for a couple of reasons, but I do appreciate that, mate. Thank you. Far out. Yeah, if you have any questions, mate, or if I can play a riff for you, just let me know. I'll keep an eye on the chat here. I got to go back tomorrow and get the stitches out of the knee, so that's my next project, and then I'll be back to normal, hopefully. Do you have a PRS to try? I do. It's right behind me. So we'll try that in just a sec. Let's have a listen to how it sounds at 5.5. Man, the reverb definitely becomes more prominent the louder you have it up. Whew, that's pretty rocking. I'll tell you what, we'll change guitars. I'll try the PRS, we had a request for that before. Can you turn the speakers off on the Tone Master amps to record silently? You can put it down to 1 watt. I'm pretty certain that's about as far down as it goes. Look, you might be able to do that actually. I haven't tested that completely, but the 1 watt mode is on the back too, and it's got the IR, so you can just basically run an XLR out into your sound card and you get either a Royer 121 or an SM57. They sound really good too. But whether or not you can actually have the volume all the way down, it's not something I've actually tested. Maybe I'll revisit that on the next video. Hey, we got Manuel here. Welcome, mate. Don't the Tone Masters have a DI out? They do. Yeah, all I'm saying is I never actually physically tested it with the volume down. A lot of people are saying you can record like that. I just haven't tested it. I've only tried the DI out while the actual speaker was on. So, yeah, let's give this a crank. We'll put it up to 6.5. I'm just going to turn the reverb down a little bit here. Let's just check. Sounds like we're close enough to being in tune. Put it in standby. There we go. Thank you, Dan. Awesome. So have the amp in standby on the back. The light will go yellow on the front. I don't know if you can see that. My knee's in the way. When you click it to standby, and you can record that way. Oh, there you go. So that solves that mystery. Thanks, Dan. Awesome. I didn't know that. Or I just didn't know it. I've never tried it. What speaker does it come with? So these come with a Jensen. It's a neodymium version of their sort of classic Deluxe Reverb amp. I think it's called the N. I always get the model number wrong, but it's like a CN12 or someone can correct me with that anyway. But it's like a typical Jensen speaker, but in the Neo form. I'll show you that in a sec. Let's try cranking this up. So what's a good spot? About 7. And this is running on the, what is it? I guess it's on 12. Does that say 12 watts? 12 watts. We're running it at 12 watts. All right. I just had to adjust the EQ. I have to bring the bass down a little bit. It's pretty normal. The further you crank a Deluxe Reverb up, it sort of gets a little flubby. So at the bass down at about 3. We'll put the treble at about 6.5 and the volumes at 7. Sorry about that high-pitched squeal. These are really old strings. Let's try that again. I had to get some more of this stuff. It's great. Hey, China Guitar Skeptic, welcome, man. How you doing? So we're testing out the Fender Tone Master Deluxe Reverb. First impressions is this thing rocks. The Twin is my favorite amp right now. It's just so light and loud and great with pedals. I didn't bring any pedals out for this video. I'll do a full review of it with pedals, all that kind of thing. But already I can tell this is great. So I got it up at 7. Let's try that again. I guess one of the other things you want to test as well is whether or not it cleans up well. So this is with the volume control on the guitar down. Man, this is great. This is great. Why is the guitar facing the wrong way? Still has that digital gritty clipping. I don't hear it in the room. It's bright. I've got the treble cranked. It's probably part of the brightness, but I don't hear that at all in here. It could also be that my sound card is clipping slightly too. I'm not really keeping an eye on that since I cranked it up. So let me just double check. It could be the sound card. If I get red lights over here, it means you're going to be hearing digital clipping, but it sounds pretty cool. Yeah, dynamic range, absolutely. So that's the thing with these amps, like you turn down and it cleans up. That's obviously they put a bit of thought into this. It's not just like an approximation. That these amps are almost unplayable past about 7, in my opinion. I really think they don't shine. Not this one, but any Deluxe Reverb. The two that I owned, get them up to 7, and at Saturation City, I always feel like they were best at about 5.5 or 6, and then boosting them with a pedal gives you a little bit more headroom, a little bit more volume. But in terms of how it feels to play, it reminds me very much of my old one. So that's pretty cool. But what we'll do anyway, because we can, we're going to turn this up to 10. I'm going to put the treble down just a hair this time. I'm also going to just turn down my sound card and make sure that it's not clipping. And then we'll go back and we'll test out the clean headroom on the 22 watt mode, because I see a few questions about that there as well. So I might change guitars as well. This strap is right in the way. All right. Man, those bends were disgusting, and not in a good way. Hey, Jeff, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Far out. If you have any questions, mate, let us know. Some people, yeah. The weather's really weird right now. A few people saying it's snowing, different places. It was hailing here a couple of days ago, which is crazy. It's supposed to be coming into summer. Yeah. What do you think of the tones anyway? So that's pretty much the first impressions unboxing / first impressions. My first impressions of how it sounds is pretty great. What I want to try and see whether or not we can actually get some tremolo happening here. We can. So I'm going to turn that up. We'll give that a play while we get everybody's feedback on the tone. And look, it's all subjective stuff. Some people won't like it. That's fair enough. Don't take it personally. So let me know what you think. That's the thing with any of this kind of thing. It's sort of like a mix of, well, it's all personal choice and all that kind of thing too. But this will tick a lot of boxes for people in terms of how functional it is and how light it is. So yeah, we'll turn the reverb up. We'll get the tremolo going. And we'll see what we can do. Sorry, I just realized my shirt mic wasn't muted, so that's probably going to sound all kinds of distorted. If you want me to try that again, just let me know. I might just do that one more quick time here. All right, so that'll about do it. Let me know what you think. Far out. Sorry about leaving my shirt mic on. You can't do that. Yeah, when the shirt mic's on at the same time, it does clip kind of crazy, but it should have been all right that last pass, I'm tipping. I think I might be slightly ahead of the live chat here, so we'll see how we go. Much better with the mic off. All right, awesome, cool. Yeah, sorry about that. It's really, I've got one button on the top of this, just one thing that can go wrong. Did I push it properly or not? And no. So yeah, it should be all right now. But yeah, I'm pretty impressed. I think the thing for me is like, I guess there's a couple of reasons why you'd probably want this over the Twin. If space is a concern. But if you're a live player and you don't necessarily play on small stages, I don't really see the benefit of this one over the Twin. It's great, but you know, the Twin's just so much louder and fuller sounding. So this sounds great, but it doesn't, you know, 2 speakers versus 1 kind of thing. I keep hearing bits of Riviera Paradise. Maybe. I can't play it all, unfortunately. Can I plug in a distortion pedal? I don't actually have any in the room at the moment, unfortunately. I'm going to save that for the video. I'll probably film the video right after this, now that I've had a chance to sort of give it a go and have a play around. Usually this is what I do anyway when something comes in and I don't do a live stream. I basically just sit down and play it for a while and then go, okay, now I'm ready to shoot the video. I already feel like I'll be fine shooting the video with this. even with 20 minutes experience. Yeah, they are game changers, Scotty. I agree, man. I think these are the future of amps. You'll probably see a lot of other companies cloning this idea because it's functional and it really feels and sounds great. Mad Monk, welcome, mate. Thanks, guys. And I'll leave the live stream up, and yeah, I just wanted to do maybe like a 30-minute live stream and sort of test this out and give it a shot. If anyone's interested to maybe hear the Twin in comparison, I can do that too. Otherwise, yeah, we can maybe wrap it up. But yeah, in terms of this part of the stream, but yeah, I have a feeling Fender will probably be releasing more of these amps. I wouldn't be surprised if we see like a Bassman or I actually sent them an email. I said, man, you guys should release a super reverb. You know, that would be great. Or any of these like bigger amps. I'm not a big fan of the Fender Bassman, but I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that love that sound, and that would be a really smart amp to kind of to release, you know, along the same lines as this. There would be no reason to really do like the smaller amps, like the Princetons and all that kind of stuff. I don't really know if a small amp warrants a lighter version of something that's already fairly light. Although, you know, some of those 12-inch Princetons are pretty heavy, but yeah, I don't really have a problem with those. I don't even consider my DSL too heavy to take to a gig, and that's got a big speaker in the back of that as well. Hey, Amanda, welcome. How you doing? We've got Sonia here as well. Welcome. Super Reverb is an amazing amp. I can't afford the forklift to move it around. Yeah, they're a strange sort of thing, the Super Reverbs. They're tall and they're not as heavy as you might think. Like, they're not as heavy as a Twin, but they still do weigh quite a bit. Rather Marshall. Yeah, I love my Marshall as well. Marshalls are great. But I don't think Fender will be releasing a Marshall DSL 40. So, yeah. Their equivalent of that would be the bass breaker. So, all right. So I might just leave the Twin comparison. If you want to have a quick listen to the Twin, I know I've done videos on it, but it might be good to hear it back to back. Let us know. I can plug in for a minute and see how it sort of sounds. But I'll show you the speaker. So there you go. Pine cabinet, nice and light. As you can see, we get the power cable, foot switch and power and instructions and all that is down there as well, but I don't ever use that. And on the back we do get the XLR out, and at the end there when I had it cranked we were on 12 watts. At the start of the video, if you go back, we were on 22. So yeah, pretty sweet. Actually, I'm keen to hear the difference. I'm going to grab the Twin. Notice you don't hear me go ugh when I lift it. So they nailed that. I'm not going to run this at full 85 watts. I'm going to run it at 40 because I'll probably blow the settings out on the actual sound card here. Let's go back to the Strat. Metalhead Hippie, welcome. I missed all the comments there, but all right. So we'll put it on 3. Middle. See, this is one of the advantages of the Twin Reverb here. It does have a mids control. You know, Deluxe Reverbs don't. You don't really think of thick mids when it comes to any of these amps, but the Twin does have that flexibility there. Hey, Robert Baker, welcome. What Strat is that? That's just my my bog standard Fender Mexico one from, what year was it made? It's made in 2015. I think I got it in 16, and it's pretty nice. You know, I was eyeing off another Strat the other day, and it's been haunting me, and I really need to move some guitars if I'm going to pull the trigger on it. I don't need another Strat either, but, you know. Let's have a listen to this. I love the fact they're so quiet. You turn them on, you don't get that really loud white noise thing. So my first impressions is they sound vastly different to each other. I'm actually going to turn this up a bit, turn the treble up, and turn the bass back. And the reverb's way more prominent too, far out. All right, let's try this. Yeah, so you get that big, full, clean sound out of this one. And the Deluxe Reverb has more of that sort of edgy, dirty sound, or it's easier to get it to sort of break up. This, it really doesn't break up unless I was to crank it up to about 10 and turn the power attenuation down. But yeah, I really like this as a pedal platform. I think it'll fill any room, and being able to turn it down, I sort of wondered whether or not people wouldn't be that interested in the Deluxe Reverb one, because the only advantage is it's smaller, but that you know, the weight's not really that much different. So it's just physically smaller. So I'm tipping it might be for people who want to play on like really small stages at a pub or whatever. Like some of the ones I do, this would be way too big. So I could see people wanting to sort of use something like that. But I always think like clean headroom's a great thing. So having an amp that you can run pedals into and have it more than loud enough is fantastic. I haven't gotten this thing over 5.5 live. It's just so super loud. Oh, here we go. Carlos says, most of the reviews I've seen prefer the Twin over the actual Fender Deluxe. So, yeah, that makes sense. That's kind of what my thoughts about it are. You know, there's a lot of hardcore fans for Deluxe Reverbs. And I've never really been the biggest Twin fan, and the reason why is because I hated moving them around. I had a Twin back in around 2005, and it was so good. It was one of the first ones that had a really great drive channel. It looked like this, but had a gain pot right here. And it was really cool. It had a very sort of Tommy Castro kind of sound, like real classic blues sound, and that clean channel. And also on the back, it had you could drop it to 50 watts via a switch, and it was functional. But I remember the day I bought it, I got a good deal on it. The guy goes, "Don't return it next week because it's too heavy." And so I kept it for about 3 months, and I was like, man, this thing's a ball breaker. Have I ever used a dB meter? Absolutely. You know what? When I do the next video, I'll have it. I've got a professional one sitting in my drawer over here. So when I do the review of the Deluxe Reverb, I might do some sort of comparison and maybe volume test as well. Metalhead Hippie. Thanks, man. Far out. You don't have to do that, mate. I appreciate that. Thank you. Far out. I'll tell you what. You guys are way too generous. A real tube Twin Reverb should come with a forklift. I totally agree. Hey, thanks again, Metalhead. I appreciate that, mate. Cheers. Deluxe Reverb different than a Twin. Yeah, they do. And that's the thing. It'll come down to what people like, you know. For fans of the Deluxe Reverb, they're not going to want the the high headroom sort of clean channel sound. But it's funny because one of the main questions I always get is a Deluxe Reverb loud enough to gig with? And I actually wrote an article about that because I feel like it's such an open-ended question that it needed some explanation. But on the most part, I almost don't feel like it is. And this is after years of playing live and years of using a Deluxe Reverb and after years of using Super Reverb and Blues Deluxe amps. And I always feel like 40 watts is the sweet spot, or 30, depending on the amp for live performance. 22 watts is okay in small venues, but not where I play. They just get drowned out. You really need a 40 watt amp in the kind of places I play at. If you're in a semi-large room, lots of carpet, weird sort of amp position on the stage and all that kind of stuff, you really need something with a bit more cut. So yeah, 30 to 40 watts is usually the sweet spot. I like the Twins, I just wish they weighed a little more. Man. Yeah. All right. So there you go. That gives you a quick comparison between the two. And they are voiced extremely differently to each other, which isn't surprising because they are two different type of amps. But if you missed the Deluxe Reverb, I spent about 20 minutes with it just before. After that, you can either scroll back or once the stream caches and goes live, in terms of public. After the fact, you'll be able to sort of skip back and forth. I'll try to leave some time codes down there as well. Excuse me. I'll try and leave some time codes down there so it makes it easier to find where you're at. I'm just going to have a bit of this. And yeah, so thanks for joining in the live unboxing first impressions video. My first impressions is it sounds great, but I still prefer the Twin, just in terms of its oomph and for the kind of places I play. I can already tell a Deluxe Reverb won't be loud enough. It's loud and it sounds great, but it's not that sort of big and full sounding. So for me, that's going to be a better choice. I guess the only other consideration is you could get your own volume behind you and run it out into the PA system thanks to that direct out, which is a really cool thing too. So yeah, it's much of a muchness if you are miking up, I guess. But I'll take some questions anyway, and then yeah, I'll hang out for a bit. All right, Robert Baker, sounds good. Love hearing someone who can really blues. Thanks, mate. It's about the only thing I can do, other than make lots of mistakes. Soda and milk, welcome, man. That's funny, the koala blues, man. That amp kicks. Thanks, Bumble. Can it metal? I don't know if it can metal. I would need a crazy distortion pedal for that. Oh, I don't even have my lead plugged in. That's why that's not working. Let me work on that. We'll see how we go. Thanks, Sonia. I appreciate that. They always seem to sound full, but can still cut. Yeah, that's the cool thing about the Twin, at least. Anyway, it has that like big push of sound. I really dig it. Matty K says the Twin really does sound better to me. Thanks for the comparison. No worries at all. They both take pedals about the same. Look, I haven't tried the Deluxe Reverb yet with pedals, but I'm probably going to assume it's going to be pretty much, that's not going to work, pretty much the same as the Twin in terms of how it works with pedals. The Twin with pedals is great. It really is, and that's the funny thing, you know, like most digital modeling amps you plug into, they suck with pedals. Not all of them, but like probably like most of them. I've always felt like the internal effects always work better than plugging external ones in, except for the Katana, where I think, and then probably the next tone, where external pedals probably sound better. And that's a subjective thing too, but that's just my sort of experience with them. Did you feel a Deluxe Reverb was a touch bright compared to a Tube Deluxe Reverb? Yeah, it did feel a little bit brighter possibly, but you know, I had the treble up at 5.5, so it might just be as simple as just turning that down. Hey, Matthew Black, welcome. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. From New Zealand, $5. Thanks, man. Cheers. What does that translate to in Australian dollars? This is the reverse of the Australian dollar to US dollar joke. You know, like it takes us like $5 US is like $1,000 here. So thanks. Do I prefer the Twin over the DSL? They're just different. Like, you know, you're comparing there's nothing better than the Fender Clean. It's really great. Although the Marshall's got a great clean channel too. I think the Marshall's probably the most functional all-round amp I have. The DSL 40 does have that great drive channel. It has that super high gain channel and a great clean and crunch channel as well. So there's 4 on there. This is different. This is just a pedal platform amp that's light. I would take this probably more often than not than the Marshall if I'm bringing pedals, because I can just, it's so easy to pick up. It really is. Metalhead Hippie, thanks, man. I owe him money right now. Now, thanks again, mate. I do appreciate that. Thanks for the super chat. But if you do have any questions, mate, I'll keep an eye out on the chat. Just at intheblues me here. Do I think it'll replace your Blues Deluxe? I almost feel like it might, and that's the. I don't think I'm ever going to get rid of the Blues Deluxe. I've bought 2 of them. I had one. I sold it when I got both of the Deluxe Reverbs, and then I was like, what did I do that for? Like, it's such a great amp. So I sold one of the Deluxe Reverbs and got another Blues Deluxe. So I don't plan on selling that amp. It really is a great pedal platform, and I love the tone of it. It's just so easy to get that sound. For me, this is more about sort of like convenience and just, you know, it's just light. It really is. But I think you're probably going to see me play this more live than any of my other amps, just based on that fact. I can turn it down to as low as I want on the back power-wise, or I can run it at full 85 watts, and it's like lifting up a bag and putting it in the car. It's just really, I'm not used to that whole thing. I can get used to it is what I'm trying to say. It really is great. Does it feed back? Yeah, that's the weird thing. On my review, I mentioned that on my live clip, I mentioned that it's harder to get feedback out of a digital amp than it is a valve one for whatever reason. I don't know what the technical reason for that is. I was at a point playing where I knew the amp should have taken off and it almost got there, but it didn't. You can get it to feed back, and I have had it feed back, but it's a different sort of thing. It doesn't feel quite the same, but I don't play with a lot of feedback anyway, so yeah, it's not a big deal. When am I hitting the States again? I'm looking forward to, I'm hoping sometime between June and July would be a rough estimate. I've got some pretty cool videos I want to shoot while I'm over there, and a few people I want to meet up with as well, mate. So if you're free, and we'll do that idea we were talking about, we'll do it. How would the Deluxe Reverb go against the Artist Tweetone 20R? Yeah, that's interesting. I don't really know. I feel like I'm killing my microphone here. Sorry. I feel like the Deluxe Reverb. I feel like the Tweetone would be louder. Those are my first impressions of what I was hearing in the room. That Tweetone amp is ball-tearingly loud. They're voiced very differently. You know, one's more like a Blues Junior Classic 30 versus, you know, the Deluxe Reverb. So they're very different. The Artist Tweetone's one of the best amps I've got. I plug in and I can just play pedals and no pedals. Hey, thanks for that, Carlos. I appreciate that, man. That's kind of you. Cheers. Yeah, the funny thing is, right, like Fender, as I mentioned in my video, Fender sent me the Twin out for review. And they know full well I've been pretty harsh on some of their stuff, especially the last range of digital modeling amps I wasn't the biggest fan of. I made that pretty clear, but they've really nailed it. If it was crap, I'd let you know. Like these are, the only downside I see of these for a lot of people is their price. They are expensive. Matthew says, have I tried the Boss Next Tone amps? I don't remember. I recently, like last week, put up the first playtest video, just sitting there playing. And I've got, I think tomorrow is the review / sort of how-to video for those as well. They're a very different amplifier again to both of these. And they'll appeal to different people. I think these will appeal to people who want to gig. And maybe who want to do home recording as well. But I'm tipping these will be more aimed at people who play it live. PV Bandit ever again? No, I think I'm done. You know, I've had 3 red stripe PV Bandits. I've had 1 silver stripe PV Bandit. I've had 2 PV Studio Pro 112s, 1 red stripe and 1 silver stripe. I think I'm pretty much done. I don't dislike PV Bandits, but I just don't. Yeah, I feel like the amp, what I've got in terms of my amps right now is the best range of amps I've had. I got the Tone Master, I got a DSL, I got my Blues Deluxe, and the Artist Tweed Tone. And that pretty much sums up like the stuff I would take out and play live. Am I coming to Texas? I hope so. Yes. There's a few things I want to do in Texas. So I'll probably be in Austin, and I want to go to Southpaw Guitars as well. So I think that's in Houston from memory. So I'm going to be doing a lot of driving. I've got a series of videos I want to put together that are going to be very different. I'm also going to be shooting some shop videos and doing like guitar walkthroughs and Guitar Search Saturdays, all that kind of thing as well. I'm probably the next few weeks, like I probably early Jan actually, I'll probably spend that month kind of planning out everywhere I want to go and the premise of all the videos and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, there'll be a bit of driving around. It should be fun. What's your favorite high gain distortion pedal this year? I like the Rev 4. You know, I don't really play distortion pedals much, man. I never find one that really sounds great in a live mix like 2 overdrive pedals stacked together do. I've tried this a number of times where I'm like, oh, I'm going to try this distortion, and I try it out live and I'm like, oh, it sounds so scooped. I know that's maybe the sound a lot of them go for, but I would say the best one that I've played that actually works would be the PAL 800 from Pedal Pal Effects. It's like a Marshall in a box. That would probably be my favorite. I don't know if that's considered like a super high gain distortion pedal, but that would probably be the best of the ones that I've tried. I always still prefer playing 2 overdrives into each other. It doesn't seem to do anything too squishy sounding. How do those amps compare to the Fender Champion 100 212? So about 4 weeks ago, actually, I shot a new video of the Fender Champion 100 212, and it was supposed to go live, but I pushed it back. So I think it'll be up early December, because I had other things that I wanted to put on the channel before it. But yeah, that video will be coming up. You know, those Champ 100 amps are pretty good. Like I think as just something you don't really have to hook to a computer. You can just plug in and dial up different sounds. I think they're pretty good. I don't know what their reliability is like, loud a lot. Like if you're playing at home, they're going to be fine, but a 100 watt amp at home is pretty loud too. So yeah, I kind of feel like, much like the Katana 212, either version, the new one or the old one, I kind of feel like they're aimed at a weird audience. Like people who might want to play live might buy them, but why, you know, most serious musos won't be playing modeling amps on stage. I mean, I've done that as well for years, but I ain't no serious muso. You know, I play live and all that kind of stuff, but yeah, those big, loud 212 amps that are a strange niche. I don't quite get who they're aimed at, because most people won't want two 12s or 100 watts at home. They'll want a single 12 or even less, right? So I find that just a bit strange. I always wondered, like, who are these amps aimed at? But I really like the Champion 100. I think they're pretty fun for what they are. Everyone hit that thumbs up button. Thanks, Johnny G. How many people we got here anyway? I haven't really been looking. Let's and then I'll 151. Holy crap. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Robert Baker says the PAL 800 is amazing. It is. You know, I heard Tone King do a video of it, and I was like, man, this is rocking. This is unreal. And I think he compared it to his actual JCM 800. I was like, oh man, I gotta contact these guys. I very rarely ever contact companies. Most of the stuff you see on the channel I borrow. I actually go down and drive down to Sky Music and bring it back and then drive it back, right? So that's pretty much how the channel works. I do get pedals sent to the channel, but a lot of the stuff is just stuff I want to try. So when I heard that, I'm like, I'm gonna reach out to these guys. That sounds great. But yeah, I don't really play like high gain distortion at all. It's always dual overdrive or an overdrive and a clean boost together. Played live with my Katana plenty. Cool. Look, people do use them live. I actually saw a guy using one the other night. I had the Boss Next Tone out there. Yeah, it's a strange sort of. If you're mic'd up, it might be better than it is just in the room. You know, like I wasn't overly impressed by the oomph of the Katana in a live mix. It was just, it sounded like the bottom end was completely rolled out. It could have just been the settings of the amp, but yeah, in a big room, they sound different. And they feel different to play too. So yeah, I don't know. They're good amps. I'm just not convinced they're for like live players, especially. This is the key thing, right? Like even the Next Tone, which I think sounds great at home, it's awesome. I had a sound dialed in, it sounded great. And this is always the argument people come back with me at. Oh, you don't need to hook them up to a computer. But you do, because you basically set them up with an overdrive, you plug it into the computer, you set the one that you want, you set the level and all this kind of stuff. You take it out and you realize you want more gain, and you're screwed unless you've got a computer to hook it up to. So for me, that renders the amp pretty much pointless. I'm going to just play it on the clean channel with my pedals, which you might say, well, that's fine. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. But I got other amps I can do exactly the same thing with. So it positions itself in a weird place other than it being financially available to a lot of people. I think the price of the Katanas for what you get is fantastic. But, you know, from someone who plays live a lot, I always find flaws with something as soon as I use it live, or I find that it's great. There's always something that sticks out to me that isn't the same as what I'm used to playing. And it's not something that is just easily accessible on the front of the amplifier. So yeah, when I criticize stuff, I look at it from a perspective of using, you know, my gear every Sunday night. Thanks, Grumpy Mike. Take it easy, man. Cheers. I had a full stack. Way too much. Have I ever played the Marshall jackhammer pedal? I haven't. No, I haven't really. I don't think I've. Actually, I have played a couple of Marshall pedals. I've tried the. I'd say is it a blues breaker pedal possibly? Is that what it's called? It's like a dirt pedal. They also made a tremolo back in the day too, but it's been ages. I can't recall the name of them. Oh, there you go. Brian says he's been gigging with a Champion 100 for about a year. Let me know if you use your, you know, a pedal board with it as well, because the clean channel on that thing's great. The Marshall Governor. I think I have tried that actually. I don't know if I did a video on it, but that's another super high gain pedal, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I don't recall, man. I know what it looks like, but I don't remember my experience with it. I think I played it at Jerry's Lefty Guitars many years ago, because he had a whole lot of different overdrives and distortions, and I went, oh, this is one of those. I may change the speaker in the DSL for a greenback. I have that V-type in my DSL. What do you think? What do I have in mind? So don't put a greenback in there. You'll blow it up. They're 35 watt speakers, or 30 watt. So don't put a greenback in there. You'll damage it unless you always play on 20 watts. I would definitely not do that. Go to guitarspeakerguide.com. I answered that exact question. Yeah, so in terms of what I've got in mind, I got a Texas Heat from Eminence. I love it. I think it took out the top end. It made the amp louder, or made it feel louder, and gave it a bit of a kick of sort of like low mids, which I really like. It kind of almost sounds like my Fender sound, which is what I was going for. I wanted to voice it in a way where it was like my Fender Blues Deluxe with my pedal board, just by plugging into the amp, and it took out all the frequencies that I didn't like about the Celestion. Kind of taking away from the Marshall tone to some extent, but anyone who's heard that amp live usually says, man, that tone's great. Not to sound conceited or whatever, but it has a very, very big sound, and I love that. So yeah, guitarspeakerguide.com. It's a website I'm working on. You can sort by amplifier on the side. And I did an article just the other day about like the best speakers for a DSL. So yeah, you can go check that out. It's all subjective, but don't go putting a greenback in there, man. You'll do your amp some damage. All right, let me scroll down here because I'm way behind. Hey, Tone King, welcome, man. Sorry, I'm like way back up the chat here. We're just talking about you before, in a good way, don't worry. We're talking about that PAL 800 Marshall pedal. You were the inspiration for me actually sending an email out. I just don't often do that. Tone King, we've got all the rock stars here tonight. Look at this. This is cool. Thanks for joining in, guys. I appreciate it. I don't often live stream anymore, and it's great to see so many regulars and new folks here as well. I don't have any brisket to share with you, Lewis, so I apologize for that, mate. That was the best live stream ever. David says, just got the Katana Mark II. Thanks for the review. If you go to Dallas, make the Dallas Guitar Show in the summer. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I want to try and, odds are I'll be down that way June or July. I don't know. Like, I think Summer NAMM's around there too, and I've never been to a NAMM, and I don't really want to go to the California one, just because I'd rather escape winter here. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I can get to one of those kind of shows. That might be kind of fun. The Katana 100 with head through a 4x12 is big enough life. Yeah, it would be. Yeah, absolutely. Tone King is at 99,000 subs. Let's get him to 100K. Absolutely. So, guys, if you're not already subscribed to the Tone King, help him get over that milestone, and then unsubscribe to him. No. I'm only kidding. If he gets to that milestone, he can get one of these things that fell off my wall the first day that I put it up, and I dented it and damaged it. And I wanted to get it replaced, and they said it was $300 US, and I went, oh, I won't be getting that replaced. But yeah, so this is the new play button. It's a bit different to the old ones. The old ones were just this bit, I think, in like a little frame. So yeah, I can't believe it's damaged. It sucks. Anyway, I don't even know what I'll do with that, but there it is. Robert says, I have an old Fender Vibrasonic reverb with a 15-inch speaker. Oh, that's great. Love the full tone, but hate the weight. Great, clean platform for pedals. Absolutely. Yeah, that's the problem with, one of my favorite amps was the Fender Custom Twin with a 15. I was so close to buying it. I was playing it. I'm like, this is unbelievably good. I went to pick it up. I went, there's not a chance I'm buying this thing. So those are the sort of amps that would benefit from this kind of tech. A light 15-inch Fender Twin or whatever. Any of these Vibrasonics, that would be really cool. Matthew says Vox AC 15 or 30. I would probably say get the AC30 S1 with the single speaker. The 15's sometimes not loud enough to gig with. Although they're loud, they're not. I used to only gig with Vox amps for probably 4 years. And I had an AC30 C2 and a C1 AC15. And the 30 just sounded better. It really did. The 15 sounded great, but there were times where I couldn't get any more volume out of it. So, yeah, I would say go for the 30, but buy the one with the single 12-inch speaker, the new one. They sound fantastic, and they're a bit lighter than the 2x12s. So, yeah. All right, I'll take a couple more questions here. What have we got? The katanas need deep dive to sound good. This would be a problem in a live situation. That's exactly what I'm saying, yeah. So I had my Boss, not katana, the next tone dialed in, and it sounded unreal at home, but I really wanted to change the amount of gain I had on the drive, and I couldn't. I could use the drive channel, but the clean channel with the overdrive sounded better, and I was like, I'm stuck. So that's a bit of a limitation there. So in the end, the second set I played, I got my pedal board out of the car, plonked it on the ground, plugged into the clean channel, and it was great. So, yeah. Hey dude, sat in with Chicago Blues man, Lindsay Alexander with his 112 Quilter Aviator series, I believe. Couldn't believe no pedals needed. Great clean and drive channel. Check it out. Yeah, a lot of people have been telling me about Quilter amps for years. I've never really plugged into one. I've seen them at guitar shows and I've seen them online. Actually, one of the guys who I think was the importer or distributor of them in Australia, for like 3 years, I get an email every 3 months on the dot. Oh yeah, I'd like to send you some amps. All right, here's my details. Nothing. 3 months later, he'd send me the same email. I'm like, dude, like, I gave you my details last time. Oh yeah, no worries. I'll get them out to you. Nothing. 3 to 6 months later, the same email came through. I'm like, dude, forget about it. Hey, thanks, Stone King. I appreciate that, man. I think it happened roughly when we were in Germany last year. Was it last year? Yeah. So, well, the year before. No, it was last year, right? Yeah. Thanks, man. You'll have one. It'll take the place of that Soldano. You can ship me that Soldano, put your silver play button right there, and you should be good. Watched your guitar tuner video this morning. Cool. That's really popular. That tuner video has had like 2.5 million views. If you love Shane's channel, you'll love the Tone King's channel. There you go. It's from Scotty. So yeah, go subscribe to him, guys. Get him over that 100K milestone. That'd be great. You know, he's been at it a long time. We've both started back in 2006, 2007. Like I think we were both posting videos in 2006, but my channel back then was a mix of mostly band stuff, but a mix of all kinds of stuff. But you know, he's a lovely guy. So yeah, I've met him in person, spoken to him a lot. He's a good dude. Which of my guitars am I taking out live these days? You know what? I've been playing my Strat a bit lately. I'm actually enjoying it a little bit. I haven't played Strats for ages. So yeah, it's a different instrument to sort of like, I've been playing my Telecaster as well. So pretty much keeping it simple. I'm actually thinking of maybe selling a couple of other guitars I'm not using anymore or haven't used for a while. I don't know if I'll regret that or not, but it's just, it is what it is. This zip sucks, by the way, guys. It's not open. It just sits like that. Yeah, I'm playing the Strat a lot lately, which is a bit different. The PRS is still getting used as well. So that's pretty much my main three, the Strat, the Tele, and the PRS. These are just so good. You know, every time I've picked up the full-blown, there's only one that I would love to buy, and I think Robert Baker bought exactly the guitar that I wanted. The same color. There's a red custom 24 that basically looks like this, but nicer. And I was so close to pulling the trigger on that a few years back, and I didn't. And then this came out. I was like, yeah, for me, this is fine. But I love this guitar. I think it's just the best playing, and it's the easiest guitar I've got to play. It really is. Bandit 65 is clean, owned it for 20 years. Wow. Yeah, they're good amps, absolutely. I've used all kinds of Bandits and PV amps live as well, especially playing in San Francisco. My friend had only PV Bandits and all those kind of like the teal stripe ones, and it was like a complete solid state rig, like JC, what are they called? The Jazz Chorus 40s. They're loud little amps too. Those things are really loud. The new Tele Ultra is pretty awesome. Cool. You know, Rick and I went and played, well, I didn't because there's no lefties, but we went down and I watched Rick play the new Ultra Series Strat with the humbucker, and he was a little underwhelmed by it, to be honest. He didn't dislike it. He just sort of went, you know, straight back to the custom shop stuff. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, he said it reminded him a little bit of an Ibanez. And I don't think he was being sarcastic either. I think that's how he felt playing it. Could have been the sound of it as well. I'm not too sure. But yeah, he said it played differently to some of the others, or it felt differently. Being, I think it's got a fairly thin neck and all that kind of stuff. Have I tried the Jet Slide yet? No, I don't know what that is. Someone asked me what the 2-notes torpedo does as well, and I didn't get to that question. Sorry about that. You basically unplug the speaker from your amplifier, plug the speaker output from the amp into the 2-notes torpedo, and then you get an emulated or an IR, an impulse response version of that. So a digital representation of the speaker, a microphone, and a room that you can move around. So you can move the mic, one microphone anywhere you like, set a second microphone up if you choose. You can have it behind it, in the room, further back, right on it, and change those mics. So it basically stops the need for you know, blowing your ears out recording. The last sort of 3 videos I shot over the last few days, I've been using just amps and mics, and I'm not enjoying it. I love the sound of it, but yeah, I got to start watching my ears more. So I think for any pedal video I do coming up as of today forward, I made a decision last night. I'm going to go back to it. The new firmware, the new software and firmware that's built into that thing kicks ass. Like Rick and I used it on the video he did with the Framus versus Harley Benton, and it sounded fantastic. So yeah, I don't think I'll be doing too many more mic and speaker videos unless it's for an amp where you need to hear the amplifier, right? But for pedals, I'm going to go back to using it because it just gets too loud. Recently bought the little 5-watt Artist Tweetone V, which is a home amp. Love the guitar and artist, but agree it's a bit pointless at my place unless I set it on 0.5 watts. Well, there you go. Yeah, so that's the thing. Like you buy if some people might buy the 100-watt one and then run it on 1 watt or whatever. So it just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. Yeah, the Tele's still getting a lot of use. You know, I didn't play it for a while, and then I picked it back up and started playing it out, and I just went, this is just great. You know, I was toying with the idea of picking up a new Strat. I love the neck on this. It's by far the nicest guitar neck out of all of them I've got. It just feels unreal. And there's a Strat that I played a while back, one of the original series 50s Strats that has this beautiful neck. It's really cool. But it would mean sort of selling a few things off, and it's like, I don't really know if I can justify that right now. But yeah, playing this again has been great. These pickups, man, they're really cool. We've got Cheech says, thanks to the PRS CE24. Yeah, I don't know if I've played the CE24, but I hear good things about them. A mate of mine's actually got one. I don't think they make those in lefties at all. Do I like the Proco Rat 2 or any of the Behringer pedals? You know, I think the Behringer pedals are great. I used to gig with a TO-800 for years. That and a Voodoo Lab Sparkle Drive. They were my two main overdrives for a long time. You know, have you seen any of the old videos where I'm wearing one of the Buddy Guy Legends t-shirts? This is going back like 2008. Any of those live clips where I got long hair and a hat, that was the Behringer TO-800 and the Voodoo Lab Sparkle Drive going into a PV Bandit and also into a DeVille. That was a loud rig. Hey, thanks, Joey. Cheers, man. All right. So, anyway, we might wrap it up. It's been going for over an hour, so thanks, guys. I appreciate everybody hanging out. What I might do with this stream, I might just leave it up as it is, but the first 20 minutes or so will be the Tone Master Deluxe Reverb, then the Twin as a comparison. I'm going to do a full proper review of this without the crappy webcam quality coming up, so stay tuned for that. I may shoot that later today. I might go get some lunch and then yeah, come back and film the video. But my first impressions, as I mentioned, I think they're pretty great, but I don't see any reason I would want to buy this over the Twin, other than maybe it's slightly smaller. Yeah, or if you prefer the Deluxe Reverb Tone, that makes sense as well. I mean, not everyone likes the Twin Tone, so yeah. Yeah, go sub over to the Tone King, guys. Come on, let's get him over the limit. We've got 126 people here still, so yeah, if we can get him up over there, he must be getting close, right? Like, what's he on? Let me check my. Let's check Social Blade here. Let's have a look. Oh, I can't type. The Tone King. It's a great name. Let's check this out here. Hang on. I just want to see what. 99,000 subscribers. So he'd be somewhere between 99 and 1,000. Doesn't say exactly where anymore. It used to display the stats, but come on, we can push him over the edge. I might post a thing on my feed. We'll see if we can get him to. We'll see if we can get him over the edge. Because yeah, that'd be cool. All right, guys. Thanks again. Thanks for all the mods for being part of this as well. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks to all the great questions. I might come back next week and do just a Q&A live stream or something like that as well. I'm sure after the video goes live of the Deluxe Reverb, there might be enough people interested in having questions about them and all that kind of thing. So, yeah, I think they're good amps. And sorry, I was reading at the same time and getting confused. Anyway, guys, rock on. Have a good evening. And it looks like my stream might